Hello everyone. So today I am back with yet another video, and in today's video we will be dealing with a brand new topic, and that is Unit 6 Logical Reasoning. Before beginning with today's session, let's see the answers to our previous video's questions. The answer for the fifth question was option A, 13.58%, and sixth was option A, rupees 1222.22, and seventh question, option C, 23.5%. So these are the answers for the previous video questions on discounting. So here, before beginning the session, we must understand that what all topics we are going to cover under the heading of logical reasoning. Through this series of videos under logical reasoning, we will be learning the structures of arguments and evaluating and distinguishing of the deductive and inductive reasoning, analogies, Venn diagrams, and Indian logics, which is a new topic added. Under Indian logics, we will be learning the pramanas and the types of anumanas. So this will be all we will be covering under this series of logical reasoning. So without any further delay, let's begin our today's introduction to the logical reasoning. The word logic is derived from the Greek word logos and the French word logique. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, logic means reasoning conducted or assessed according to strict principles of validity. And then logical reasoning can be of two types, that is deductive and inductive reasoning. We'll begin with the deductive reasoning. What is deductive reasoning? In deductive reasoning, specific premises are derived from the general statements. For example, here there are two statements given and there is one conclusion. Poets are honest. Mohan is a poet. And the conclusion derived is Mohan is honest. Here, if we consider these statements as A, B and C, A equal to B equal to C. Here, poets means all the poets will be coming under this statement. So this is a general statement made, and from this statement we are deriving a conclusion which says this particular person, this specific person, Mohan, is also honest. So now you understood, that is specific premises are derived from the general statements. The deductive reasoning starts with a general statement and ends with the logical conclusion which is derived from these statements. Now, moving further, we'll understand the inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is the opposite of deductive reasoning. Here in inductive reasoning, specific statements are combined to infer a general conclusion. For example, Mohan, who is a cricketer, is good in mathematics. Sumesh, who is a cricketer, is good in mathematics. Rinki, who is a cricketer, is good in mathematics. So here, these people, Mohan is a cricketer, Sumesh is a cricketer, Rinki is a cricketer. Upon these specific people, we come to a general statement saying cricketers are good in mathematics. Here cricketer means all the cricketers are good in mathematics. We have derived this general statement, this general conclusion from these specific statements. This inductive reasoning uses a bottom-up approach. Like it will be like from the specific statements we are taking a general conclusion, and these conclusions can be either weak or strong. Similarly, when you visit a place for the first time, you form some opinion about the nature of the people there on the basis of the 10 people or 10 persons you will meet. So this is the inductive reasoning. So you are choosing on the basis of those 10 people you have met, you have made a conclusion that all the people in this particular area are like this. This is what is inductive reasoning. We can also say that there is one more type of reasoning, that is abductive reasoning. So when we make a educated guess on the basis of our observation and the incomplete information, it is known as the abductive reasoning. Its results are most likely conclusions. Like it is useful when there is no clear information on some phenomenon, when there is incomplete information given and we make some educated guess, and that is called as abductive reasoning. For example, when a patient may not recognize all the symptoms he has, but a doctor senses all their problems from the incomplete information of the symptoms and suggests the tests. So here the doctor is not given all the illness whatever the patient has. On the basis of the patient's sayings that he has some 2-3 symptoms, here the doctor will make the some reasoning and he will come to some conclusion about the disease and he gives the test. This is what is abductive reasoning. Now there comes an important part where we are going to learn about the arguments. What are arguments? Arguments can be defined as a form of reasoning that attempts to establish the truth of one claim called a conclusion based on the assumed truth of the evidence in other claims called premises provided to support the conclusion. These arguments are a very important part of the logical reasoning. And it has questions including, like in your exams, like assertions and statements or conclusions derived. Those type of questions will be given. So what is an argument? In argument, there is some premises given, 1, 2 or 3 premises are given. On that basis, some conclusion is to be made, and arguments are those which give the appropriate establishment of the truth or to claim that conclusion. Those are called as arguments. So there are types of arguments, like the deductive argument. Deductive, what is the deductive reasoning? The same goes here. Deductive reasoning is from general we are getting the specific conclusions. So here also, in the deductive arguments, there are again 2 types, that is valid argument and invalid argument. In deductive there are 2 arguments, that is valid argument and invalid argument. Invalid argument, if the premises of an argument are true, then its conclusion must be true. That is valid argument. Here, for example, premises are first premise is no person under 18 years can vote in elections. Second premise is a voter can register for voter card. So we derive a conclusion saying no person under 18 years can register for voter card. Here the conclusion derived from the premises is logical, and it will be true if the premises are true. So the argument is valid argument. Here in the premises given, these are the true in reality. Hence the conclusion is also true in the reality, and this is the valid argument. See, no person under 18 years can vote in elections. This is true in reality. A voter can register for a voter card. So who is the voter? Who can vote in the elections is a voter. So what we come to the conclusion that no person under 18 years can register for a voter card. So what is this? This is valid argument. What is there in invalid argument? In invalid argument, if the conclusion derived from the true premises is false. Here the premises will be true. They will be true, but the conclusion what is derived, that will not be true, or that is not supposedly true. It may be true or it may be false. So that if it is true, it is valid. If it is false, it is invalid. Here, for example, if we take all students are intelligent, right? Namita is intelligent. These are the two premises, and we conclude Namita is a student. If the given premises are true, then there is no guarantee that Namita will be a student or not. Is there any guarantee that Namita is a student or not? She may be anyone but she is intelligent. Here, any person can be intelligent. Other than students also, other people also can be intelligent. So here we can't say that Namita is a student. This is an example for invalid argument. I hope you understood the valid and invalid argument. Now, the next one is inductive argument. Here the inductive arguments are those arguments which are derived from the specific to general. Here the argument can be of two types, that is either strong argument or weak argument. For example, I will give an example. 90% of the balls in this bag are red is the first premise. A ball is drawn from the bag. This is the second premise. And the conclusion is this ball will probably be red. Try to understand the sentences. There is 90% of the balls in certain bag are red in color, and one ball is drawn from that bag. These are the two premises, and the conclusion we are getting is that probably this ball is red in color. Is it right or wrong? Of course it is right, because when all the 90%, only 10% are other colors and 90% of them are red in color. So it is most probably what we are taking out of the bag will be a red color ball. And this is a strong argument, strong inductive argument. If we say this ball is probably not red color, then this will be a weak argument. Weak argument. I hope you understood inductive argument. Now, moving further, we come to a conductive argument. Here, premises are convergent. That is, premises convey and support a particular conclusion. Here, many premises are given and there is a conclusion which will support all the premises. Here, we are neither taking it from particular to general or general to particular, but here are a few premises given and we come to certain conclusion, a particular conclusion. Like for example, child, a place near Shimla has peaceful aura. This is the first premise. Second is, it has beautiful surroundings. Third premise, there is also a jungle safari. There is also a jungle safari is the third premise. So the conclusion what we get is, I will spend next summer vacations in Child. Here three premises were given and we came to a particular one conclusion. either here we are not even taking it from general to particular or particular to general, but with the premises given we are coming to a particular conclusion, and this is called as conductive argument. It is conductive argument. The next type of argument is analogous arguments. These arguments have an analogy. That is, when comparison or similarity between two things is discussed in an argument, it is known as the analogous argument or analogical argument. For example, this movie, like the other movies of Ranveer, then Mona must be intelligent like her sister. Here we are comparing Mona's sister to Mona. So this is an analogical argument. Now, when in an analogy, it is used to weaken the argument. It is called as the counter analogy. If they are comparing to make the argument weak, then that analogy is called as the counter analogy or disanalogy. The next type of argument is circular argument. It is circular argument. And in a circular argument, the argument ends at the place where it started from. Like the name itself suggests, it is a circular argument. At one point it starts and the argument comes and ends at the same point. That is called as the circular analogy or circular argument. It is called as circular argument. For example, if the prices rise, then the wages should increase. And if the wages increase, the prices will also increase. So here look at this. If this is increasing, this also will increase. And this is increasing, this should also increase. So at this point, both are increasing only. So it is ending in the same point where it started from. And this kind of circular argument is also called as the transcendental reasoning or transcendental argument. So here we come with end of the arguments, types of arguments. So what all did we learn in today's class? As it is a little bit confusing, let's make it clear with the summary. So we learned what is logical reasoning, from where logic word came, and in logical reasoning there are two types, that is deductive and inductive. Deductive is from general to particular, and inductive is particular to general. And in abductive, here some educated guess is made when there is insufficient information or there is insufficient reasoning given, then that is called as abductive reasoning. Then we came to the arguments. In arguments, deductive argument, in deductive, valid and invalid argument. And then we learnt inductive. In inductive, there is strong argument and weak argument. Then the third one was conductive argument, where from certain premises we are coming to a particular conclusion. And analogous, when we are making the comparison between the two things, it is analogous. And then is the circular argument, from where it started it will come and end itself, that is the circular argument. So this is what totally we have learned in today's session. So we'll continue the session further and we'll be learning many more things in our next session. And regarding the questions, question solving, we will solve the questions at the end of this series with the question paper questions also I will be taking and solving. So thank you. I hope you have understood everything. Thank you once again.